Afghan journalists who were beaten by the Taliban for covering a women's march are pleading with the federal government to grant them asylum in Australia. 13 have applied for Australian visas, saying they fear being murdered by the Taliban for doing their jobs. And a warning, there are elements in the story that are confronting.
In the office of one of Afghanistan's major newspapers, journalists ponder their future under the Taliban. Used to reporting, they never expected to become a news story themselves. But a brutal beating at the hands of Afghanistan's new militant rulers changed that. These two journalists were covering a women's protest in Kabul last month when they were warned to stop filming. They were then taken into Taliban custody.
حدود 10 نفری که داخل اتاق جمع شده بودن، همه هم جنگجویان طالب بودن، همه هم یک چیزی در دستشان داشتن، چه کیبل چه چیز دیگه. اونا همه تلاش میکردن که مرا با تمام شدت و حدت بزنن و بدون هیچ رحمی.
He's now lost hearing in one ear and 40% of his sight in one eye. Too afraid to leave home, Niamat hasn't been to work for almost a month.
برای این گروه مشخصه و اونا نخواد اجازه بده که دوباره خبرنگارا به صورت آزاد و به صورت راحت بتونه.
Hundreds of journalists are now believed to be in hiding across the country, while more than 150 media outlets have been forced to close since the Taliban takeover. This journalist was dragged away by Taliban fighters while covering the women's march in the city of Herat. He hasn't been heard from for weeks.
The beating of the two Etilati Ross journalists, I think, tells you all you really need to know about the situation facing journalists across Afghanistan at the moment. The journalists represent values and principles and ideas that are anathema to the Taliban.
13 journalists from the Etilatros newspaper this week applied for asylum in Australia.
از دولت استرالیا، جامعه جهانی و همه نهادهای حامی خبرنگاران انتظار دارم که این روزهای سخت و این اهمیتی که کار ژورنالیسم و خبرنگاران افغانستان.
Australia's Union for Journalists has thrown its support behind their asylum bid, saying the MEAA holds grave concerns for the safety and welfare of the editorial staff of Etilatros. The Department of Home Affairs said the government is ensuring visa options will be available to Afghan nationals through its humanitarian and migration programs. Rashida Yousafzai, SBS World News.